Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hope the audio and video is exceptional. I've been doing a lot of work with that. Also, my network overhauled the network, so I think everything should be in optimal state. Sorry for the lag time. And when I say lag time, I mean multiple months of lag time while I was getting this new environment set up. Now I'm not in a green screen set right now. I'm actually here at the Appalachian Ocean. So this is real. We got George Cooney and crew down there. I don't think they're here yet. Raccoons are nocturnal. But hey, George Cooney. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, he's not here yet, but we will have raccoon action here in a little bit because I'm going to fire up. I got my grill over there. I'm going to be doing some pork chops. When I fire those up, it'll attract the raccoons. So we're going to have raccoons on video here in a little bit. I'm going to be smoking, or not smoking, but just grilling some pork chops. And then when my wife has when she brings out the scraps, she's got some scraps in there. I'm going to throw those down to George Cooney, and we'll move the camera over so you can see George Cooney. Jamie, welcome back, sir. Always good to have you. If you don't know Jamie is a long time subscriber and supporter of IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, and that's deeply appreciated. Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Got a bunch of people tuning in here. Man, got a bunch of fun stuff brewing here. So, yep, Jamie says cheers, cheers to you too. Deeply appreciated. I'm going to move my live stream tab over. Hope the audio and video is good. If there's any problems with it, let me know, because like I said, I've completely overhauled my network, and I should have mesh coverage throughout. So that was a challenge in the beginning. I didn't have good network, and if you don't have good network quality, you're not going to have good audio, and you're not going to have good video. So let's see. I'm gonna plug in that grill. I'll be right back. I plug in. It's an electric charcoal lighter that I use. Let's see. I'll be right back over here. So it's actually wood in there. Actually using K Bracho wood from Meathead Charcoal. If you haven't checked out Meathead Charcoal, go to meatheadcharcoal.com. That's actually what I'm using in there. It's K Bracho wood. It's from South America. It's a lump charcoal, very slow burning, just a very good flavor profile for anything, whether you're doing a steak, chicken, burgers, pork chops. I'm doing pork chops tonight. Jamie says, I had some raccoons that almost became pets at one time. They were cute, but became a problem tracking mud. Oh, on your back deck. Yeah, they will. And George Cooney, the raccoon, he climbed on this deck because I had some bushes that were adjacent to the deck, and put these things on the post that go up to the deck. They're like that shape, and they surround each post of the deck. So what it means is that the raccoon can climb up, but he gets to that and he can't get over it. And I've got one on the bird feeder too. But because the bushes grew out, George Cooney made it to the deck, and I was standing over here. Actually, you can't see it in this shot, but I was standing over there on that off-camera spot of the deck, and I felt something. Brush up against the back of my leg, and it was fuzzy. And I turned around, and then I saw the raccoon tail. The raccoon tail went through this little grate on that side of the deck over there that you can't see on camera. And it was George Cooney. He was going back down to the bush. The way he came up, he just looked at me and laughed. So he came up, tapped me on the back of the leg, and said, hey, you think you're smart. You think you've outsmarted me by putting those raccoon-proof things on the deck post. well, think again because you haven't. And admittedly, I hadn't. I admit failure. George Cooney outsmarted me. He got on the deck. But the next day, I did trim those bushes. So now neither George Cooney nor his crew can make it up on this deck. So that's an added convenience. Now raccoons he's a cool raccoon. He's friendly, but you got to watch out with raccoons because a lot of raccoons have rabies, especially the ones that are out during daytime hours. So, if a raccoon has rabies, if a raccoon is rabid and a raccoon bites you or scratches you, you can be in a very potentially bad position. You'd have to get medical attention. You'd probably have to get rabies shots. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. But you would probably have to do all of that. So for that reason, I enjoy George Cooney being on these live streams, and he'll probably be on this one. But I would never want a raccoon as a pet. It's cool for them to come up and appreciate the scraps and this, that, and the other. But for me sitting here on my deck doing this live stream, I don't want to have a raccoon here and here. I don't want contact with the raccoons. I'll talk to the raccoons and they'll chirp and make their weird sounds at me from down there. That's cool. But I would never want a raccoon as a pet. They're cool animals. Actually, raccoons are supposed to be more intelligent than cats and dogs. What's going on the grill tonight? Actually tonight, and I've been marinating all day, so I've got French bone-in pork chops, prime pork chops, just basic marinade. I did, let's see, what did I do on them? I did soy sauce and Worcestershire and a little bit of garlic powder, and then, a jerk seasoning. Actually, I got this really good, it's a dry jerk seasoning. It's spicy, but it's sweet. It's kind of a sweet spice, Jamaican style jerk. Now it's not the traditional stuff like I pick up in Jamaica, but I'm going to do Jamie, I'm glad you asked that because I need to do a video review of that and post a link because it's really good. It's very, very inexpensive. But when I bring the pork chops out, I'll be sure to pass by the live stream so everybody can see them. But I'm just I'm just here chilling, just getting my grill on. Gonna grill a couple of pork chops. I got a big one for myself and a small pork chop for my wife. And actually, my pork chop's so big, I'll probably have enough for breakfast too, man. And that's the way to do it. And everybody's tuning in. Don't forget, I got my merch store, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel merchandise. Not just IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, but also George Cooney, the raccoon. You can find it all linked within this video's description. Just go to my merch link and you can find it all there. I'm actually working to create some new merchandise for the channel, and I got pint glasses. Actually, I need to order one for myself, and I'll do that so you can see it, so y'all can see it on set. So, yeah, a bunch of cool stuff coming to the channel. I've been doing a lot of work with depending upon your level of technical expertise or technical knowledge or whatever, you may or may not have heard of AI, artificial intelligence. So I've got a lot of projects that I have in play that are pertaining to AI, and I think it's going to be really cool. Honestly, I'll go as far as to say that AI may be as exciting, if not more exciting, than drones. Now, I love drones. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with drones today, it's kind of a different animal because now they're starting to become highly regulated, and the challenges associated with enjoying a drone for most people, it actually functions as a deterrent. People want to get involved with a new hobby. They're like, man, drones look great. But then they start digging into it and they're like, man, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. Nothing wrong with safety, but it becomes a situation, and this is the case with a lot of things, where over-regulation becomes a perceived negative. You know, if you got to go through all these hoops to do whatever, is it even worth the effort? Now, you know, obviously I'm Part 107 FAA Part 107 pilot. I'm an FAA licensed drone pilot, but for your average Jane or Joe, the thought of becoming involved with the drone hobby and having to deal with drone ID and this, that, and the other, not saying it's a showstopper, but it's things that people have to do and they've got to comply. And it's, you know, just the known act of compliance is a deterrent. So what was once an awesome hobby, and I mean, I'm not saying I was the original drone person because I wasn't. I mean, I've obsessed over drones. You know, check out my thousands of drone videos. You know, I took them all over the world. Had great times with drones during the infancy of drones. But drones now, it's just a lot of effort. And you know, if you're like me and you want to relax, you want to do something to have a good time, you don't want to have to think about, well, am I doing this correctly? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? If there's anything that can create a pause in one's mind, they got to think, well, that sounds fun, but the key word, but, B-U-T, it's not a good thing. So for me, as a professional YouTuber, for me, drones, I'm not saying I'm taking drones out of the picture because I'm not. I'm going to still obsess over the DJI Mini 4 Pro that's about to release. I can't wait to get that. That's going to be cool. But it's a lesser weight class. Jamie says, I haven't flown my drone in a while. Folks being irresponsible with them ruins it for everyone. You're right. It's the folks that are irresponsible, but it's also like most anything else. And, you know, certain activities I won't mention because it's not good for social media banter, but there's other things that the government have overly regulated and it's taking the fun out of it. And it's just not, and it drives prices up because when you got to implement XYZ for whatever product to be compliant, there's enhanced cost, and that's enhanced cost for the manufacturer, which is then obviously passed down to the consumer. So drones, I don't want to say we're seeing the end of drones. I don't think we are. But what was once during the fun times, the DJI Phantom 1, those days, it was a fun hobby that people couldn't believe. Man, that thing's actually doing that. And how'd you film that video? You know, it was a shock and awe of, wow, that thing is so stable. And man, that video, how did you capture that video? I'm not one that's unwilling to admit the end of something. And I'm not saying this is the end, but what I will say in regards to drones is that what was once there's a helicopter. Whoa. Let me check out this helicopter over here, man. Helicopter. But what was once a really fun and open and regulation-free playing field is now something that's becoming tightly regulated. Not saying it's a problem for people that are responsible, like I would hope my viewers. So you can see the helicopter up there. See it flashing? See it up there? There's a helicopter. It's flying by. But people that are responsible, it's not a problem, but it's just added effort. You know, when I'm doing something I enjoy, I don't want to have to deal with all of this check A, check B, check C, check D. I'm not a fan of overregulation. You know, I've never been. I mean, whether it's a drone or whatever, I don't like it's anything. This is across the board. Anything that can become regulated probably will become regulated. And the fact of the matter is, tell me one thing that the government has started to more tightly regulate that they stepped back and said, oh, you know, we were wrong. We're not going to regulate that. You know, once things become regulated, it's a slippery slope because things become more tightly regulated to where it just takes the fun out of it. And in the case of businesses, it takes it just adds to the complexity, man. Let's see. So this right here is flaming up. I'm going to, let's see. We're going to do this. We're going to put these pork chops on. Got my pork chops. Electric charcoal lighter makes it clean and easy. Don't have to use lighter fluid added charcoal. Actually, I'm using a very premium charcoal tonight. This is meat head charcoal. It's monk charcoal. Quebracho, bro. Quebracho wood. This wood is very good. It's got a very pleasing aroma to it, and it adds a very nice flavor profile to your meat and or your vegetables. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pop this sucker on. This is my searing grate. Oh, yes. That smells so good. Stand back from the grill because I don't want to get any stuff on my nice IrixGuy's Adventure Channel t-shirt. Okay, I'm gonna grab the pork chops. God, we got a bunch of people tuning in. Welcome aboard. I'm gonna get to y'all's comments. I got to get my pork chops on the grill, bro. I'll be right back. Yaman. I don't have a good accent for Jamaican accent. I think it's one of the coolest accents, but these are jerk pork chops. These are prime French bone-in pork chops. I'm about to put them on my grill with my meat head charcoal. Go to meatheadcharcoal.com. Quebracho wood. I'm going to cook these on Quebracho wood. Searing grates. Want to get a good sear for the pork chops. Something you may not have ever thought about, especially if you don't grill as much, is the sear. The sear is not only cosmetic for a pork chop or a steak, but it's also locking in the flavors because you're hitting that meat with very intense heat and you're locking in the flavors. So the finished product's can be better. And when you serve it, those professional looking sear marks takes the, I'm just cooking for family, so it doesn't matter. But if you're a professional cook, the presentation level goes up through the roof. I'm going to put this marinating dish in my kitchen, and then I'm going to get back to y'all's comments. Got a bunch of comments coming through. Keep them coming. Don't forget to super chat if you want to. Great way to support the channel. Gotta get that sear on, man. Actually, what I need to do is close my lid. Let me do that. I'm going to get to y'all's comments here. Going to get those professional sear marks from those cast iron grates. Okay, here we go. We got a bunch of people tuning in. Jamie says, ever thought about getting a paramotor? I would love to actually be able to fly. Been watching Tucker Guide on YouTube. Looks like a fun sport. Honestly, Jamie, I would love to do that. An ultralight, something like that, but I am extremely afraid of heights. I can handle hiking throughout the Appalachian Mountains and backpacking unless I'm right beside a sheer cliff, and then I kind of start to freak out. If I've got a few feet, I'm fine. But the thought of flying, unless I was completely inebriated, scares me to death. So I wish my mind was wired to be able to handle that, because it would be a very cool activity. And if you're able to handle that within your mind, I would say go for it. I think it sounds awesome. One Usit says, panda, panda, panda. And then Ronald, the psychiatrist, says, so this guy likes to jerk his chops. Yes, I love my pork chops, jerk chops. Mike says, how are you? Great, Mike. Always good to have you, man. Always good to have you, Jamie, everybody here. We got a bunch of new faces. I'm assuming, let's see, who do we have here? I got some new names. I got a bunch of people tuned in that haven't commented yet. You don't have to comment on these live streams, completely optional, but the conversation is great because this is a live show. I hope the video and audio is acceptable. Those little lights back there are solar, and they're actually very bright. And you should check out my solar post lights video, and you can find those. I mean, it's crazy, man, what's out there. I refinished this entire deck. This deck looked janky. It was jankified. But what I did, I stripped it. I got a stripper and stripped my deck. And after I stripped my deck, then I sanded my deck. And after I sanded my deck, I painted my deck. So I painted the bottom, and then I painted the rails. And, for a few $100 US of paint, I think it turned out acceptably decent. Now, ultimately, this needs to be replaced. I think I'm going to go with a composite deck. By the way, if anybody's had experience with a composite deck, which isn't real wood, it's a synthetic type decking material, but the longevity of that's supposed to greatly trump the traditional wood like this. This deck is approximately 20 years old. Here at the Appalachian Ocean, I was looking for a place that was not in a state of disrepair, but a place that was, I don't want to say fixer-upper, because that implies an extreme amount of effort, but something that just did, I don't know. I mean, I'm taking it chunk by chunk. Let's see. I got my window here. Mike is a good guy. I can tell by his channel icon. Let me see. Oh, Jeep. Yeah. Love my Jeeps. How do y'all feel? Speaking of Jeeps, and this is an interesting question for Jeep fans. How do you, being a Jeep fan, feel about this EV, this electric vehicle movement? And I'm not saying this because I got a hidden agenda. I'm just curious as a fan of Jeeps. Now, I don't own a Jeep. I like getting out in the wilderness, but I've never been a Jeep guy. But how do you feel? Okay, Jamie says not a fan at all. So to kind of piggyback off of that response, Jamie, list the top 2 reasons why you're not a fan of an EV Jeep, an electric vehicle Jeep. What are your top 2 reasons for not being a fan? And that goes for everybody. Everybody chime in, tell me your thoughts about electric vehicles. This is a, just a non-political, this is why I feel the way I do about electric vehicles type conversation. Those pork chops over there on that searing grate, I'm going to let them sear for just a minute. And then I'm going to flip them because I got to sear the other side. You can see that smoke. Look at that smoke. That is a quebracho. Quebracho, bro. Quebracho smoke coming out of that grill. And that is a South American wood. It's very good. Jamie says, more complicated to work on, more to go wrong, range issues, especially on road. And that's interesting. So that's Jamie's comments in regards to electric Jeeps, EV Jeeps. And I will tell you my opinions in regards to electric vehicles, and mine aren't isolated to the Jeep. This is kind of, I'm more of a car guy, but I like the concept of a hybrid. A hybrid has a very valid use case. And actually, I've got a Ford Maverick on order, the hybrid model, which I've had on order for almost 2 years now. And will it ever be fulfilled? I don't know. But it's a cool concept because I get extremely good gas mileage, but I don't have to plug it in. And I can go to most any, even ma and pa, podunk town gas station and put gas in the tank. Doesn't require anything special. So, from that perspective, I do embrace batteries. I do embrace electric. My lawnmower is electric. I've been using a Works electric lawnmower for almost 2 years now, and it's an exceptionally solid performer. The batteries haven't noticeably degraded, and I don't have to go to the gas station to buy gas, to use gas to go to and from the gas station, and then buy the gas for the lawnmower, and then store the gas for the lawnmower. For me, an electric battery, or actually a battery powered lawnmower, makes sense. My thoughts on electric vehicles, EVs, I do like the technology. I think technology is cool, but questions that come into mind, and I'm a big backpacker, I do a lot of stuff in the wilderness, especially the Appalachian Mountains. But it's the thought of disposal. It's these vehicles are almost like a cell phone because you use them, they wear out, you dispose of it. Well, how do you safely dispose of something that has, and I'm not a scientist or anything like that, but all of those chemicals in it, like a battery? How do you safely dispose of that without burning it, releasing pollution into the atmosphere, without burying it, putting pollution in the ground, which then could in turn flow into lakes, other water sources that, then hits our drinking water supply. If EVs, electric vehicles, are ever adopted by the masses, how's the disposal work? Because they haven't been around long enough for us to encounter the disposal challenges associated with electric vehicles. So for that reason, I'm very hesitant. The other thing is, anytime the government, and this isn't, say this is political, whatever you want to categorize me as, but anytime the government stands, or the perception is that they're standing strongly behind an idea, it makes me stop and think. Because anytime the government seems to want something, my assumption is that, there's something in it for them. How many times have you seen tax reductions? The government wants more and more taxes. The fact that the government, and I don't know if this is for everyone, but I've heard about it I don't watch the news. I refuse to watch the news, but I've seen things where people said that there may be tax incentives for certain buyers of EVs, of electric vehicles. So why would the government be incentivizing the purchase of an electric vehicle? That scares me. And the other thing that scares me, if these are ever mass adopted by the masses, the electric grid, it's already stressed. But imagine if you're now putting not just another microwave, not just another TV, but you're plugging a car, a truck, a semi-truck into that electrical grid. Do you not think that the electrical grid's going to potentially become overly stressed? I'm not an electrician, but I mean, just thinking about it in fool's terms, I mean that comes into play. So there's concern there. And then as a homeowner, the other concern is that, well, if you've got all of these additional devices, in this case, cars, trucks, semi-trucks, whatever, plugging in, is that going to increase the overall cost of utilities for people that don't even own an electric vehicle? So that's another concern. There's so many concerns here. And even beyond those concerns, the thing that just completely keeps me out of the picture of wanting to ever adopt an electric vehicle is the cost. The cost is insanely expensive. And, to Jamie's point, more complicated to work on, more to go wrong. No doubt. I love my Audis. I love my BMWs. I love my Mercedes. But there's not a single one that I've owned that I didn't have electronics issues. So if my car is not gas powered anymore, my car is electric. Can you imagine how amplified those issues would become to troubleshoot? You don't just crank it. If there's some sort of electrical issue, it could potentially prevent that electric vehicle from cranking. So, I mean, there's so many layers of concern here. And I'm not bashing electric vehicles. I'm just stating the facts. What are the facts in my mind? So I want to hear what y'all want to say. What y'all think? Oh, George Cooney's out. George Cooney is down there. He smells my pork chops. So we're going to get George Cooney here on camera in a minute. So tell me what y'all think. You know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I don't claim to be, but I do feel that I have common sense. So I think that, so many people have jumped on this just because it's cool. Granted, it's cool technology, and I love Elon Musk. I think he's a great guy. I would never buy an EV. If Tesla released a hybrid that was affordably priced, I would probably consider it because I do like the interior of a Tesla. I do like the technology inside a Tesla, but I don't want something that is solely dependent upon its battery source. I want something that would be a hybrid, and that I would be cool with. Those pork chops are searing. Yeah, we're gonna get George Cooney here. Actually, I need to get something to throw down to him, man, because he's smelling those pork chops. He's like, man, how long do I have to wait for the fat and the bone? That's a good thing. That's why I always get the French bone-in pork chops, because the bones, after my wife and I eat the pork chops, if George Cooney gets a bone, he can sit there and gnaw the scrap meat and the fat off of it. It's awesome. He loves it. Hey, George Cooney. Yeah, he went back under his tree. I'm gonna get my torch. It's actually a flashlight, but they call it torch in the European countries. Let me go get my torch, and we're gonna get George Cooney on camera here. Be thinking of some questions for George Cooney the raccoon. So check this out. Yep. So share more thoughts. We don't have to talk about electric vehicles. We can talk about whatever y'all want to. Raccoons, business. Jamie says, got to run. Just saw you were live, so thought I would jump on and say hi. Jamie, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. This is my torch, my flashlight. We're going to go over here and we're going to get George Cooney, the raccoon, on camera, man. Hey, George Cooney. Excuse me, sir. He was out there a second ago. But I want to have this torch, this flashlight, because we're going to get him up close. I'm going to throw some good food down for him, good scraps. Got to feed the raccoons. Be sure to check out my merchandise store. You can find the link within this video's description. T-shirts like this one. IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. I've also got George Cooney, the raccoon merch. You can find it all there. Let's see here. Let me see if my wife's put some scraps out for the raccoon. Yep, actually she did. So I've got a smorgasbord of crackers and popcorn and all kinds of stuff here. So we're gonna feed George Cooney the raccoon. Hey George Cooney, there's some food coming to you. So we're gonna sit that there. I'm gonna reposition my camera and laptop so we can get this effectively framed on camera. And while I move the camera, there will be a brief commercial break. You'll probably see some commercials coming through. Speaking of commercials, if you want to support this channel, you can shop my merchandise. You can do the super chat if you choose to do so. Let's see, we got some comments flying through here. Jeff Lane says, "Nice loom." Oh, the loom. So I hit it with a torch right here, and this is chromolite. This is chromolite loom, but you can see when I hit it with a torch, it really lights up. Good observation, Jeff. Yeah, it's so many types of loom. Tritium was one of the things of the past, and tritium was actually a somewhat highly radioactive substance, especially with Panerai. I think Panerai had a history of some of the workers that designed some of the original Panerais. And at that point in time, I'm sure they didn't know about radiation, this, that, and the other. But that was a pretty crazy story. If you haven't researched Panerai and loom, it's pretty frightening. This is chromolite, though. This is Rolex. I mean, at least today, it's probably pretty safe. I mean, who knows what they'll discover in a few years. Let's go ahead and get the raccoon camera set up here. So we're going to put this over here for the laptop, because I've got to have the laptop tethered to the camera to get y'all the really awesome raccoon footage. And this will be George Cooney, and I think crew, because when I throw the food down, I think George Cooney will tell his crew, be like, "Hey man, we got some food up here from IrixGuy's." So let's see. Let me move this over. So I got my laptop right here. We're just gonna scoot. We're gonna scoot this camera, man. We're not gonna interrupt the live stream. Don't worry. Move all this. Whoa! Whoa! Wee! Put this sucker here. Not too close to the grill, because we don't want to burn things up. Now I'm going to flip my LCD around, because what I'm going to do is spot George Cooney the raccoon. Okay, so we've got a very wide shot right now. This wide shot's going to encompass the main raccoon dining area. And let's see if he's out yet. Let's see. Let me check my point of reference here. This will be just a second. I want to make sure I've got everything optimally positioned. Oh, okay. I need to go a little bit closer here. Okay, there we go. So you see the two lights, the light that's closest to me, and then the light that's further away. And kind of in the middle to the right, you're probably going to see George Cooney come out from that tree. That's his little hiding area. So George Cooney, the dinner bell is about to ring. Hold on one second, sir. The dinner bell is about to ring. Let me get that dinner bell. Let me find it here. We're going to ring the dinner bell. Well, if this will let me get to it. Oh, here we go. Well, okay, the dinner bell is malfunctioning. Let's see how I can do it here. Huh. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here goes the dinner bell. Let's see, I need the bell. Okay, so there's the dinner bell for George Cooney and crew. Excuse me, sir. I'm going to throw some food your way. Here's the bowl of miscellaneous scraps. Come and get it. He should be out very quickly. Let's see, I'm keeping an eye out. I'll track him on the camera. Yep, everybody just tuning in. We're waiting on George Cooney, the raccoon, and potentially George Cooney and crew. I just threw some food scraps down. He loves to eat. His crew loves to eat. Very friendly and interactive raccoon. So if you have any questions for George Cooney and crew, just post it in the chat and I'll ask him when he comes out to get his food here. He was out earlier. He just got impatient. He should be here any minute. Hey, George Cooney, your food's ready, man. Come on out. You got a live audience. Come on. If you're wondering, that lighting is solar LED lighting that I've got down there in the raccoon area. Very affordable lighting, but it does a good job. No electricity, man. It's just the sun up in the sky. That's pretty cool. Let's see. We're going to shine my flashlight down there and see if we see George Cooney. Let's see over there where I'm shining. That's his tree. So when he comes out, he'll probably come out there. You can see down there in front of that a bunch of popcorn and the scraps that I fed him. But that area right there is where you need to look because that's where George Cooney is probably going to first emerge. I've got about 12 raccoons, and I guess today they're just on a different schedule, man. They're busy. Now they're nocturnal animals, so you shouldn't see a raccoon until dark unless their sleep patterns are messed up. If you do see one during the daytime, there's a good possibility that raccoon may be rabid. So watch out for erratic behavior, foaming at the mouth, a staggered walk. You should never approach a raccoon because they could have rabies. I'm going to flip my pork chops. Got good sear marks. I'll show a video of this in a little bit. Oh, man. Good stuff. So that's what's happening off camera. And actually, that's what's attracting the raccoons. And honestly, I mean, they may have gotten their dining preferences may have become so refined that they don't even want to eat popcorn. They may be waiting on the bones from these pork chops after my wife and I eat ours. Because we do leave meat on the bone, because that's only fair, man. I mean, you got George Cooney and crew, the most famous raccoon in the world. So we got to feed him. Wish he'd hurry up and come out, man. He's just, maybe he got on a conference call. He got stuck on a conference call and he can't break away from it. Illuminescence. Go in the dark. Jeff, I missed out on Archibald Chesterfield III. His live stream tonight. I was planning to make it onto that and I didn't. Man, where's George Cooney? Hey, George Cooney, come on. While we wait on George Cooney, we're going to go ahead and change the camera for a minute. There's no point in having the camera facing down there if we don't have George Cooney yet. I'm going to get us a better view here. Let's see. Let me flip this sucker up. Oh, we're going to go to grilling view. How about that? There we go. Ha ha ha. You got the grilling action. Flip over to that. There's a thunderstorm in the distance, so we may get some cool lightning here in a minute. When I was talking earlier about George Cooney, I said George Cooney came and rubbed up against my leg when I was out on the deck. I'd gone down here. So I was way down there, and then I felt something on the back of my leg. It was fuzzy, and it was George Cooney had climbed this bush right here, and I'll show you the bush that he climbed. Actually, you can see it in the camera there. Jeff said, did not miss much. Same stuff, all good there. Very good. So, but yeah, George Cooney climbed up this bush, this crepe myrtle, and I trimmed it so he can't get up. But he came up there, and I was at the end of the deck, and he came up, rubbed against my leg. I was like, man, that was freaky. I turned around, he was climbing back down the tree. So as of now, to my knowledge, there's no way raccoons can make it onto the deck. But they're supposed to be smarter than cats and dogs. So if there's a way for them to get up here, I'm sure they'll figure it out. Thick. That's my wife's pork chop, not as big as mine. That's mine, man. Look how thick that sucker is. Getting those good sear marks, getting that good quebracho smoke. Like I said, I'm cooking this on meathead charcoal. It's quebracho wood from South America. And you go to meatheadcharcoal.com. You can find where to order the charcoal. Very good. Different flavor profile and a very slow burning charcoal. So the value add of that is that it doesn't burn up as quickly, so you don't use as much. It's my little electric lighter. I was making sure it was cool because I need to put it away in case it rains. They're expecting a lot of rain here at the Appalachian Ocean. So you never know, man, when it's going to rain or not rain. But always be prepared. I'm going to put this up. I'll be right back. We'll see if we got some raccoons yet. see what we got. Not yet. But I am monitoring. Oh, wait, there is George Cooney. Let me flip the camera around. We'll get him. I'll be quiet so we don't disturb him. He was just here. Where'd he go? He was just there, I think. Well, I'm going to look around, see if I see him. I think what it is, it's not necessarily George Cooney. It's a new member of his crew that's not yet comfortable with us. Hey, where are you? You're on a live stream on YouTube. You need to get out here. He'll be here in a minute. He was there. I mean, that's why I moved the camera. Yeah, he should be here in a minute. George Cooney, where'd you go? Oh, there he is. Here he comes. There's George Cooney. Excuse me, sir. Are you enjoying that popcorn? I told you there would be raccoons. There'd be pork chops. Got a fox out here too, man. I got a gray fox. I've got a cougar. I've got a wildcat. I've got a groundhog. Look at him. He's like, man, that's just a smorgasbord. There's so much food. Like I said, he's going back towards his tree over there. He's confused. He's like, man, there's so much food. Oh, there he goes. He went over there under his tree. As I had indicated earlier, he went under his tree. So let's see. Let's move this sucker back. Usually the raccoon activity is heightened. It's weird. It's a seasonal thing. So like right now, the raccoons they're let's see. Let me pop this sucker up and we'll continue with our conversation. Always want to make sure my camera is properly locked into its into his thingamajiggy. You don't want to deal with that. Let's see, there's the grill. Kind of reposition this here. Take this tripod up. Get a good camera angle. This is a high ISO camera, so we're getting hopefully good nighttime performance here, I hope. Let's see, let me. Yeah, we got solar lights in that margarita. Rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett. That's bad, man. He passed away, but that dude, he did it right. He really did. Okay, so there's my grill. And when the raccoons come back out, we'll put them back on the camera. But for now, it's going to go over here and man the grill. Ooh, wait, man the grill. No, staff the grill. Be politically correct. So let's see. Let's do some trivia here. Let me get my laptop with y'all's comments in plain view here. And like I said, I do have this position to where we can quickly pivot and switch to the raccoons when the raccoons come back out. But they're doing their thing right now, man. They took a little snack. They're like, "Hey man, Chef IrixGuy's up there, man." And they brought a little sample. They're like, "Do you like this?" So they're tasting it in their raccoon den. You know, they're down there watching TV and stuff. And if they like it, then they'll come back and get some more. You know, it's really cool going out in the middle of the wilderness, like in the Appalachian Mountains or somewhere, and you can't even see your face in front of your hand because it's so dark. And stay tuned, by the way, subscribe and stay tuned because I've got a lot of backcountry adventures in the snow in the Appalachian Mountains. So I've got all that coming. Always really cool when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can't even see your face in front of your hand, to fire up a torch like this and just bring light to the environment. It's always really cool. Oh man, he's back. He's back. I'm going to get the camera off tripod. George King's back. He's a pretty big raccoon. Now, I've got some other raccoons that are even bigger. He's a good size. Look at him. He's like, man, I like to eat. I know where to go. Bring your friends, man. Where'd all your raccoon friends go? It's George Cooney and crew. Where'd they go, man? Look at him. He's just sitting there chowing down. He's like, I don't even care. I got that torch shining at me. Hey, we do have French bone-in ribeye, not ribeyes, but pork chops. So we'll leave some meat on the bone for you, so don't forget. Because it's coming, okay? Mm-hmm. Chomp, chomp, chomp. It's amazing how much raccoons eat. And they eat a ton. Look at him. He's not even fazed by this light. But man, I'm hungry, I'm fat, I'm going to eat some more. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. It's funny, see, when I turn the light off, it's a completely different experience. I turn it on. But like I said, he doesn't mind the light because he knows he's famous and he's on YouTube. He's the most famous raccoon on the internet, without a doubt. Hopefully fame never goes to his head. That's right, George Cooney. Don't let the fame go to your head, sir. He said, considering how many videos I'm in, if I was going to let that happen, I already would have. Look how he's jumping up. Man, he's got popcorn here, the popcorn there, popcorn everywhere. Like I said, we got those those French bone-in pork chop bones coming down. Mmm. You're going to like that. And tomorrow, dude, I will throw you some, I don't know what's on the menu tomorrow. I got to figure that out. He's attacking the tree. He's like, there's popcorn in this tree. There's popcorn in this tree, bro. So I'm going to get it. I'm going to get all the popcorn. Mmm. Let's see. I got a comment over here from a viewer. Yo, Irix, SoCal Seth. SoCal Seth, George Cooney says hello. Look at him. He's like, hello, SoCal Seth. Hey, welcome back, sir. SoCal Seth is one of the most long-time supporters of the channel. Deeply appreciated. And George Cooney appreciates it. We are filming at an f2.8 aperture, a Frank or a Foxtrot 2.8. Now look at him, man. He's sitting there chowing down. He's like, dude, there's popcorn in this bush. Why'd you got the popcorn in the bush? This is like a Christmas tree for a raccoon. Gonna climb this bush, gonna eat my popcorn like a boss because I'm George Cooney. Yo, dude, you got some sauce? Actually, I will have some sauce later. I'll get it to you. That's all good. You can't have everything. Whoa, something scared him. Well, there's George Cooney, man. He had to get back to something. He had business to take care of. You know, maybe he had a conference call, man. A conference call. He had to get over there and take care of that. So we'll go back to this camera angle for a little bit. Got the grill going. SoCal Seth got my jerk pork chops on the grill. SoCal Seth says make them some of that hot sauce. You know, it's funny, man. I did today I did the Carolina Reaper salsa, and it's in the fridge. It's marinating. I'm going to tear into that tomorrow. Actually, my wife won't eat any of it. Obviously, my daughter won't eat any of it because it's too spicy. But I will extend the opportunity to George Cooney and crew, and I will caution them. I'll be like, I want to express my concern. This may be too spicy, but if you want to try some, you can. So we're gonna let George Cooney and crew try some of the Carolina Reaper salsa tomorrow, and I may do a live stream for that if I've got time to do a live stream. One of the things I've got going on, I've got a few new startups that I'm working on, and you know, obviously, if you're, and maybe you're not, and that's cool. It doesn't matter. But if you're a fellow entrepreneur, you know that sometimes a startup requires a significant time investment. So if I have to devote a lot of time to that startup tomorrow, I may not do a live stream, but I'm hoping to be able to get out of that, do what I need to do, and then come back and do the live stream of the raccoons. Ooh, there's lightning out there, bro. A lightning. Let's see. I'm gonna get this power cord. I'll show you something cool. See, I use my power cord to light my charcoal. But when I finish lighting the charcoal and the charcoal lighter's cool and I've taken it in, then what I also do is get my power cord, outdoor use power cord, and I tie it up like I would a line on a boat. See, look at that. Very neatly tied, easy to store. I'll be right back. I don't like keeping power cords sitting around. Yeah, I think George Cooney preferred the to-go option because he took his bowl of miscellaneous scraps. He took it down the mountain, man. SoCal says I use bourbon in a match. That's one way to start it. That is one way. Just don't do it with expensive bourbon. Because you can't let that stuff go to waste, man. You got to properly enjoy. French bone-in pork chops. Oh, man, that one's huge. But I'm going to put this other one, the thinner one, off to the side. Actually, I'm going to put the huge one on the, it's got this fatty side. I like to do these to where the fat burns down. So, you know, you don't, if you're not, you can smoke pork chops, but when you're grilling a pork chop, it's a different cooking style. And I want it all to be edible. Now, granted, if I've got some fatty pieces on these tonight, that's fine because George Cooney will eat the fat. But my wife's pork chop, I always get her a smaller pork chop because she doesn't eat the big pork chop. I get the super thick one. And if it's excessively large, like this one is, I'll probably eat the rest of it for breakfast. Pork chop with breakfast is always a good decision. He lights his, SoCal Seth lights his grill with Buffalo Trace. Let me tell you something about Buffalo Trace. And SoCal, I know you know this. Buffalo Trace, number one, every bottle of that is different. Buffalo Trace is the entry-level tier of the distillery where they also make, probably everybody that's familiar with bourbon, they've heard of Pappy Van Winkle. So Pappy Van Winkle is kind of at the top. Buffalo Trace is at the bottom. By no means an entry-level bourbon. Very good, very sophisticated. Every bottle has a different flavor profile. Now, what I really like, it's kind of in the middle from the same Buffalo Trace distillery. It's the Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare, in my opinion, it's a tier up significantly. Flavor profile, everything from Buffalo Trace, but you don't get that, what I would call the prestige tax that you get with Pappy Van Winkle. So you're basically getting, in my opinion, something as good as Pappy Van Winkle, but you're not paying the premium, the ridiculous premium. And that's Eagle Rare. But what you just mentioned, Buffalo Trace, dude, I mean, even if I was worth $100 million, I would not be lighting my grill with that. I mean, that is a very good bourbon. And it's I mean, I hate to say this, man, but I will say that is bourbon abuse. You gotta enjoy that bourbon, sip that bourbon, share that bourbon, but don't light your charcoal with that bourbon. Buffalo Trace is good. I'm not saying it's the best, but you know, like I said, the best in my opinion is Eagle Rare, which is the really good bourbon from Buffalo Trace Distillery that doesn't have the prestige tax that's placed on Pappy Van Winkle. So, and I'm saying that as I drink my Reposado, which is tequila. So, but you know, bourbon is a cold weather beverage. Tequila is a warm weather beverage, and you just got to know the the seasonal nature. And you know, some people enjoy premium spirits the same one throughout the year. I mean, some people drink bourbon in the summer. I don't drink bourbon in the summer. You know, all that I drink during the summer is beer and tequila and rum. I'll do rum, but typically, since I like dark rum is a winter beverage for me. So, you know, winter, you got dark rum, you've got premium bourbon, and I consider Buffalo Trace to be a premium bourbon. Though for sipping, I've been on a, let's see, I got this icon that popped up here. I'm trying to see. Though for sipping, he's been on an Angel's Envy kick on the rocks with an orange twist. I've never had Angel's Envy. I've done a ton of bourbons, including Pappy and Four Roses. They've got some pretty solid stuff. On a more mainstream, and it wasn't mainstream when I was turned on to it, but Bullet bourbon. I don't really care for the rye. I'm not a rye bourbon guy, but the traditional Bullet bourbon, that's a very well crafted bourbon. And actually, the price on it, when I first discovered it, it wasn't popular yet, so it was very affordable. And the price has gone up, 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 up. So they've got. I'll say that Bullet has a prestige tax associated with it now, unfortunately. Angel's Envy has one aged in port wine barrels, so it's a little sweeter. Oh man, that sounds good. And speaking of that, I love a good port wine for dessert, and that's port wine. Good stuff, man. Speaking of good stuff, I got to figure out. I'm doing. I did my grocery order, and they were out of potatoes. How do you ever run out of potatoes? So I don't have potatoes. I was going to do a baked potato with the pork chops. So now I'm going to do the pork chops, and I'm going to have to go in and do. I'm going to do some green beans with some fresh onion in with them. You know, jazz them up a little bit. Green beans, pork chops, and toast with butter and. I know it sounds off the shelf, and it is, but that Cavender's Greek seasoning. You get some Cavender's, you put some butter in the middle of a piece of bread, you make some toast, just put it in your grill, put it in your oven or whatever, and that's a phenomenal side item. And you can also make croutons out of it. Man, good stuff. I'll flip those suckers over again here in a minute. Man, this thing is so thick. Ooh, I hear thunder. That's my wife's over here, this tiny one. Oh, it's still huge, but she'll probably have lunch out of that. That's mine, just the enormous one. Well, the good thing is, if this thunderstorm comes through, number one, George Cooney has already eaten. He took to-go order to his friends. And then I've got my stuff going. This is not covered, but it's a charcoal grill, so I don't have to worry about, any sort of electrical concerns. When I'm doing my electric smoker, that's a different animal. I've got to make sure it's covered because electricity and water don't mix. But with this, as long as it doesn't rain hard enough to put out coals inside, I'll be good. And the pork chops are mostly done, so I'm just going to let them, just do their thing and chill. Man. Yeah, this is some good stuff. Yeah, George Cooney's completely done. He's like, man, you got me so much food. Yeah, George Cooney now, he's so fat he waddles. He's like, I've been eating. He got the waddling belly action going. But that's good. He's a happy raccoon. Now I'm a person, and I've been trying to lose some weight, so I'm not as fat as I was. I got pretty fat. But it's all about the diet and exercise and eating quality ingredients and cutting out the junk food. I mean, the main thing I did is just cut out fast food. I mean, I'll do fast food maybe once a month just to shock my system, and that's about it. Because it's easy to get on that habit, convenience, this, that, and the other. It's not good. It's not. I mean, it's not good for you at all. Hey, George Cooney, come back, man. And we will have the bones for you here in probably an hour or so. We're not going to eat early. We're going to eat late. Appalachian Ocean time. You will probably be eating at about, I would say, 11 p.m. Eastern. That sounds about accurate. The Appalachian Ocean's that way, so often you'll see the storms like you witnessed during this live stream. You'll see the lightning flash right around the Appalachian Ocean. Mm-hmm. Raccoon activity is done. They are done for the night. Check my battery life here. This laptop's holding up pretty well, man. Battery on it is still 63%. That's pretty phenomenal. I will tell you, Apple, their recent launch event with Apple Watch Ultra 2, Apple Watch Series 9, was it iPhone 15 now? Apple's launch event was pretty uneventful. I think the biggest accomplishment or technological advancement that Apple's made within the past few years has been switching off of Intel and going to their own in-house Apple Silicon. Because this is Apple Silicon. I've just got a base level Apple Silicon MacBook Air with M2, and the battery efficiency of this is phenomenal. I mean, it really is. I mean, it just sips the battery in this laptop. So Apple's done a phenomenal job with their systems. I don't even go MacBook Pro. I don't have a business need. I mean, I can use it. The MacBook Air that I use, I mean, I'm editing 4K video. The video that I posted earlier of the how to make Carolina Reaper salsa step by step, I filmed that video today. I edited that video today. I exported that video today. I uploaded that video today. And that video today, how to make Carolina Reaper salsa, is already visible on YouTube in 4K quality. So it's been uploaded. It's processed by YouTube servers. So that's pretty phenomenal when you think about it. I mean, this laptop is more than capable of getting the job done. Kyle C., welcome aboard. And then, show you the Panda. Oh, let me show you the Panda. Actually, George Cooney's back. Let me get it over here. I'll show you the Panda. I'll show you the Panda, bro. The trash panda, man. Hey, so don't call me trash panda. That's offensive. I'm sorry. You're not a trash panda. Feel free to super chat for the panda action. Wee! He said, I gotta go, man. Actually, that wasn't George Cooney. That was part of his crew. Because George Cooney is not, he's not camera shy. George Cooney, like I said, he came out on the deck, chilled. You know, I said, hey, man, you gotta leave, bro. Raccoon not allowed on the deck, bro. But he came up and, like I said, he came up on this bush over here. George Cooney climbed up over here. And then I was over here. And when I was standing over there, I felt something brush up against my leg. It was George Cooney because he had climbed up the deck. But that's the only way the raccoons, to my knowledge, can get on the deck, because I've got the raccoon-proof things on all the deck posts. But it was the bush that George Cooney climbed. He was able to get up here. Cal C says, "What's the beverage for tonight?" This is actually it's mango. I got reposado. It's El Jimador reposado with mango, fresh mango mix that I made, and I've got a little bit of fresh lime and what's that stuff called? Grand Marnier. Splash of Grand Marnier on the top, and then the salted rim. One Usit said, "Wow, yep, I told you asked for raccoons. I gave you raccoons, man." Cal C says, "I saw the video of another panda infiltrating Georgia's turf. Is there a power struggle?" You know, as I mentioned, Georgia here, the Appalachian Ocean. And I do think there may be a power struggle between George Cooney's crew and the rival panda crew. So to be continued. We're going to have to post an update. Great question there. Great question, Kyle C. Always makes one wonder, you know, these George Cooney and crew. I mean, although George Cooney is without a doubt the most famous raccoon in the universe, what about those other raccoons that are trying to claw their way to fame? To be continued. Oh, he's back. Hey, we're gonna get you on camera, bro. We're gonna get you on camera. Hold on, let me get the camera. Sorry for the inconvenience. There you are. That's cool. I won't turn the torch on. I'll just use this because you're lit by the solar LED lighting. Very environmentally responsible lighting solution. There you go. Now you're kind of off light, so I'm going to light my torch. Bam! There you are. Everybody can see you. So, hey, I'm George Cooney. How y'all doing? I'm just sitting here eating my cuisine here at the Appalachian Ocean. How y'all doing? Feel free to super chat if y'all want to. Y'all will super chat, help support live streams like this one. Hey, man, don't be in a hurry, bro. It's cool. Take your time, man. Chill. And there's more coming. Like I said, we got, oh, there's another raccoon. There's Crew. He said, hey, I'm George Cooney. He said, that's Irish guy. He's like, he's cool. Oh, man, mosquito bit me on the forehead. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm not shining it right in your eyes. There you go. That's cool. He's just telling him the lay of the land. He's like, bro. He's like, this is Irish Guys Adventure Channel at the Appalachian Ocean where they live. And he said he will feed you. And I will. I will take good care of my raccoons. I'm very considerate. So when they come back out, we'll chat with them again. But yeah, George Cooney and Crew, he was talking to him. He's like, man, what's on the menu tonight? Oh, cool. What's on the grill? What's on the wrist? Okay, so the grill. The grill, I got French bone-in pork chops, jerk seasoning. There's my fat pork chop. And here's my wife's still thick, but not as fat pork chop. So finishing mine up, finishing hers. Hers is off to the side. It's just getting some additional smoke from this Cape Bracho. Let's see. That's what's on the grill. Let's see. What's on the grill? What's on the wrist? Whist, as Archibald Chesterfield III might say. Whist watch check. I'm going to let you guess what it is. I don't know if it's going to get in peak focus or not. Oh, there we go. That's pretty focused. Can you guess from the loom what it is? The loom and the bracelet. Yep. Sub 114060. 114060 with Chromolite loom. Actually picked this up in the Cayman Islands, and this actually when you could go to the authorized dealer and you could haggle and get a significant discount. I mean, that's the only reason I got it, because I never pay MSRP. I'll always pay well below MSRP. And I'll tell you, with the wristwatch game recently, even if you're connected with your authorized dealer or dealers, it's very hard to get a discount. And actually, that's why I haven't even bothered with wristwatches recently, is because the opportunity is not there. I think the market's about to flip. And if you're not familiar with this, Rolex actually, or I should say the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation acquired Bucherer, which was formerly known as Tourneau. If you've ever been to New York, Chicago, those types of places, you go to that big wristwatch store. It used to be called Tourneau, and then it was Bucherer. Rolex acquired that. So it's going to be interesting to see what Rolex's marketing strategy is going forward. I think sincerely, and people laugh at me when I say this, but I think there's going to be a third Hans Wilsdorf brand emerge. I mean, Rolex is, the crown. They're the top of the ladder. You've got Tudor, which is owned by the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. It's the shield, but Tudor nowadays is up to the price point that Rolex once was. So what I think we're probably going to see is a third brand from the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation emerge, and it'll be the affordable entry-level Rolex brand. We'll see if that happens, but I think that the writing is on the wall. That's my interpretation of what's going on anyway. If you're into wristwatches, tell me what you think, but I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know what the name of the new brand is going to be, but I mean, it only makes business sense. So George Cooney has left. The pork chops are almost ready. I've got to get dinner ready for my wife. Got to get my side items going. So I appreciate y'all viewing in. Thanks for your support, the questions, and Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Y'all have a good day.